Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, February 3rd, 10:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. This is Lee McMahon with your daily video. Please look over the risk disclaimer, which should now be on your screen. Then we're going to go over the charts. We're actually going to be taking a look at Aussie pairs here, as the RBA actually just like within the last minute announced their rate decision for this month. Rates on hold as expected, so we'll talk about that. So take a look at the risk disclaimer, and then we will begin. Okay, so let's go to the charts. So here's Aussie dollar. Might as well start there. You can see the Aussie is catching a bid here after the rates were kept on hold. Moderately, hawkish statement, I suppose. They seem to be moderately bullish on Australian growth, but I don't really know. I'm not gonna be buying this rally certainly. 88.80 is still my magic level to sell Aussie dollar at. We may, maybe we'll get there. All right, within the next, 25-30 minutes, depending if this squeeze picks up a little bit. If we do get there quickly, I won't. If we get there quickly, I'll wait a little bit and see what the reaction is, just to make sure I don't get caught up in news flow. But right now, Aussie dollar looking good for a little bit higher, but I still like it eventually to retrace. Euro Aussie. Let's take a look at some of the Aussie crosses. Euro Aussie, all right, is actually talked about this as my potential breakdown trade for this week. So we are now below. All right, this key trend line. We have an hour and 25 minutes until the close, so we'll see. A couple options here. All right, you could play this as the bottom of the flag and buy it. Thinking about that, we'll see what the close looks like. The other thing that you could do is sell it as a breakdown here, or you could take the middle ground and wait for about 153.70 and sell it there. But we're going to need a 4-hour close here first. And we have a little bit of time before that happens, which I think is actually an ideal amount of time. We'll let the market kind of process this data. Really the statement, and see exactly what it believes. Aussie CAD is still kind of just sloppy here. Not a ton to do there. The other one to look at, I think, is Aussie Yen. Another false breakout on the Aussie Yen, okay? A little bit, I'm sure, frustrating for some Aussie Yen traders out there. This was the first false breakout. All right, ignore the fibs, but that trend line right there. So that was the first false break. We just saw a second one. So, some Aussie Yen traders probably frustrated out there. I still like Aussie Yen to continue its breakdown. I think all yen pairs are going to be struggling here a little bit. This is the Nikkei. We're below that 4-hour trend line. We do have some significant RSI divergence, so we may be seeing a little bit of a bounce, but 14,750 is now major resistance. Dollar yen, another one that's broken down. Like I said, I mentioned this. I went short dollar yen on my personal account earlier today, and I have orders to add layered up to 102. My stops are somewhere up here, so if they get there, props to the market. But I'm thinking that this may be the start of a bigger move lower here on the yen pairs. But we'll see. U.S. markets today took a hit. Okay, you can see E-minis sold off down to their major trend line. That's a huge level for E-minis. Dow, I gotta jump up to the daily real quick, but the Dow broke its trend line. Okay. Oh god, I have to go even further out. Daily. Let's do a 3-year chart. Okay, there you go. Broke below its 200 days. So really, the Dow looks very poor right here. That would mean XLI industrials. Okay, terrible day. That is a very ugly pattern. So a lot of worry for there. NASDAQ testing its trend line as well. All right, so E-minis, Dow is if the Dow is the leader, E-minis and NASDAQ are going to be heading down sooner rather than later. But it may not be the leader. We'll have to see. Euro dollar. All right, breakdown here. Looking for we already saw the retest, and I think that we're heading lower from here. Looking for about 132. Pound dollar. I'm going to be writing an article about this later tonight, so keep an eye out for that. As the article basically is going to be whether or not this pound dollar wedge break is a the beginning of a significant correction in the pound across the board. I think there's a significant fundamental case to be made for that. Certainly, we saw the pound get hit really, really hard today, and I think that really may just be the beginning. On pound dollar, 164 remains significant resistance. Rallies up towards there should be viewed as selling opportunities. Dollar CAD. I still like dollar CAD lower, but I suspect it's going to be a hard grind lower here. It's below the 50% fib and it's retracing, but we've seen the dollar pick up some strength elsewhere. This candle basically indicative of that. All right, so it's going to be kind of a long slog, but I do think we'll see CAD sideways at least, which would mean that some of the CAD crosses, like Euro CAD, you can see some downside here. Pound CAD. These should all be kind of on your radar for possible selling opportunities. Kiwi CAD, for example. All right, Kiwi CAD is actually a really nice one. Kiwi dollar. Major selling opportunity at 81.60 or so on a retest of this wedge break. Definitely one to keep in mind going forward. A pair that I've been talking about as a breakout candidate, finally did break out, is Aussie Kiwi. Broke out back here on the on like, I guess, Friday or whatever, the 31st. And now with the Aussie RBA, we're pushing higher. Longer term traders, this is a bounce to sell. Shorter term traders, we may see a squeeze. All right, there is a significant downtrend here. The next major test is upcoming at about 110.50. So that's the level that you want to keep in mind for Aussie Kiwi. And if we do see a dip back down towards about 107.80 or so, you could maybe take a stab at a long on a retest there. All right, that's the 4-hour view. What else? Euro pound, nice breakout here. Nice consolidation here. I think with, like I said, like with the pound, the way it's looking, I think 83.50 is the next logical stop for Euro pound, and above there we could start to see some major rallies develop on the pair. But it's a choppy pair. We may see some consolidation first. Excuse me. The rest of the yen pairs, you see Euro yen really just ran away. I was looking to short Euro yen and pound yen towards the end of last week, but just never really got a setup. And then all of a sudden, we're literally 300